In the pandemic, public sector workers stepped up and provided the much-needed help to give Canadians a lending hand in a difficult time. Now these workers are being impacted by inflation, and they don't want to go to strike. They want to work. So the government has a responsibility to negotiate fairly.
The government is committed to reaching agreements at the bargaining table that are fair for the employees and reasonable for taxpayers. We have a good offer on the table.
The countdown is on as federal public servants are in position to go on strike as soon as Wednesday if the government and their union don't reach a deal by 9 o'clock tomorrow night. With so many government services at stake, tax services, passport processing, immigration approvals, even border crossings, could a full-blown crisis be on the government's hands if public servants walk off the job? And how politically viable, on the other hand, would back-to-work legislation be? Let's bring in our front bench panel to talk about that. Sabrina Grover was a federal Liberal candidate in the 2021 election. She's now a principal at Shakti Strategies. Melanie Paradis is the former communications director to Aaron O'Toole. She's now the president of Texture Communications. Kathleen Monk is an NDP strategist and principal owner of Monk & Associates. And Laura Stone is a Queen's Park reporter for the Globe and Mail. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Let's start with the potential for this strike to actually happen, and then we'll move on to back-to-work legislation. Melanie, this is over 150,000 public servants coming off the heels of a tough year for a lot of the services they provide. Like, things are getting better, much better now in certain instances, but it certainly wasn't an easy path there. How big of a deal politically do you think this would be if it happens?
Well, it seems like they only just finished dealing with the passport backlog, and I think that the last thing the federal government wants is to have to deal with that again. So certainly they picked their timing well. It's also tax season. My dad's watching tonight. I'd like to say thank you for teaching me to do my taxes early. I'm glad that I've got Biden. But I know that there are many, many Canadians who are counting on their return, and if there's a delay to that process, this could have a real impact. So hopefully this is dealt with pretty quickly, because this is not the year for Canadians wanting to deal with more delays, especially when it comes to ones that impact them financially.
It's interesting, Sabrina, because the gulf between them, and I was saying this to Chris Elward, who heads up the union that represents the public service workers, it doesn't seem enormous, 9% compared to 13.5%. Some sort of issues around remote work. I know there's like a bit of a line in the sand there where the government is concerned. It seems possible that they would be able to meet in the middle, but for some reason it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, certainly I think that the distance between the government and the union doesn't seem that large, as you said, Vassy, but, I want to take this outside of that Ottawa bubble for a moment and kind of look at what the rest of Canada is facing and where other Canadians are at and how I think they might respond to this kind of strike. Last year we saw that almost entirely all of the job losses that the economy faced were in the private sector. So the public sector has been insulated from that. We've also seen that public sector wages generally have been higher over the private sector. And so when you take that politically, that context outside of Ottawa, and you look at maybe a teacher in Moose Jaw or a healthcare worker in Lethbridge or a grocery store worker in Dartmouth, I don't think the sympathy is going to be there. And I think especially when that gap between where the public service is and the government isn't that large, I don't think politically it's a win for them to go to strike. And I think the best deal is going to be reached at the bargaining table, like the Prime Minister and like Minister Fortier said.
Kathleen, what do you think about that? Because I sort of get the point that the public sentiment's going to be a hard one in this world right now. But sure. Their response, I sort of challenged Mr. Elward on that. His response is a little bit like trickle down, like, well, they should be setting the standard at the government that the rest of the private sector has to follow.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say that nobody wants to go on strike. No one wants to leave their office or their normal job and walk the picket line for 4 hours a day for $75. That's the reality. So that's why both sides are working really hard to try to get a deal. And let's remember that a lot of these workers are making between $40,000 and $65,000 a year. That's not even really the $48,000, and that's not even meaning the average salary of a Canadian across Canada. So these are not all big bloated salaries. I think that there is a job for the union to actually articulate what kind of work these people are doing and how it's so important to our lives. Melanie said one example of taxes and filing our taxes and those tax return folks, but there's also people who inspect our food, who make sure the chicken we put on the plates of our children and the meat that we serve for our kids is safe, or that help our veterans. These kind of services that cut the OAS checks or the old age security. So I think that we still have a lot of time left. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but union negotiators are used to this kind of stuff. It's down to the wire. Sometimes deadlines have to be made in order for the pressure to build up, for the government to come to the table and the union to actually make both sides to make the concessions they need to get to a deal so they can get to a fair wage. And I just say this last thing, that frankly, the government should be a magnet employer. They should be drawing the best talent. And if they don't actually give wages that are fair for their workers, we could face a crisis of even more delays if we can't attract the workers to provide the services the Canadian needs. And frankly, when the government sets a salary, it does trickle down to private sector. And frankly, if private sector folks aren't unionized, one thing they could do is actually sign a union card to get the benefits that unions like this fight for.
I get that. I think Sabrina's point is a good one too. Like, we're not all living in that reality right now, and so I think that's where the interesting political dynamic of where the public lies in all this. And Laura, just on that point, we all lived through, and you especially, what happened with the education support workers, right? And there was some support for the government's position until they took an extra step and they legislated things. And that's something that this government will potentially have to contend with as well, which could be politically fraught for them too.
Oh, absolutely, especially for a government like the Liberal government that wishes to side with workers. We're not talking about a Conservative government, and you saw here in Ontario the progressive Conservative government tried to take away their right to bargain, and that was really a step too far, even for the private sector unions. So that completely blew up in their face. So the Liberals do have to tread a fine line here. I agree. I would not be shocked if they come up with a deal. I don't think they're too far apart on that front, but I don't see public sympathy here for the union's position. I don't think anyone in other jobs is looking at a 4.5% raise over the next 3 years, and they are being offered at least that for 1 year based on the government's offer. They have, they live in a place where, it's easy to get to work. They don't have to commute too far. As Sabrina noted, their jobs were...
That's when the LRT is working, to be fair.
Well, that's true. But their jobs were secured over the pandemic. I mean, I just don't think there's a lot of, public patience right now for a position of striking. Of course, if the services gave up, people would be angry and probably take it out on the government to an extent. But I don't think that the union, has a ton of leverage here when it comes to the position that they're taking.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out, I guess, over the next 24 hours, almost exactly.